Today on Capechi's Corner, we're going to look at operations of functions. So we're going to start with some basics, and it's really just getting used to how things are written, how the functions are written. So when we're going to have addition, we're going to have f plus g of x, and then we're going to break them up and take f of x plus g of x. Same thing with subtraction, same thing with multiplication, and same thing with division. The one thing we have to be careful about in division is I know in a fraction, my denominator cannot be equal to 0. So I have to make sure that whatever g of x is, it cannot be equal to 0. So I might need to mention that as part of my answer, something that is not going to work. All right, so let's practice some. So given f of x is equal to 2x and g of x is equal to negative 4x plus 5, we're going to find the following. And it says, again, we want to talk about any restrictions we have. So when we're adding f of x and g of x, I get 2x minus 4x plus 5. So that gives me negative 2x plus 5. If I'm having f minus g of x, I have 2x minus negative 4. So I have to remember that I have to subtract everything. So I'm going to have to distribute. That gives me 4x minus 5. So I have 6x minus 5. Moving on to multiplication, I'm going to take 2x times negative 4x plus 5, and I have to distribute that 2x through. So I get negative 8x squared plus 10x. Now the last one, division. So I have f of x is on the top, and I have g of x is on the bottom. And I can't really simplify that. The only thing is, like we said, I can't have my denominator equal to 0. So I have 4x, negative 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. I'm trying to figure out what is not going to work, right? So I get negative 4x is equal to negative 5. So x is equal to 5 over 4. Okay, so that's the one thing I need to add, that x cannot equal 5 over 4. All right, moving on. When they're talking about composition of functions, the result of one functions are used to evaluate the second function. Okay, so sometimes the way it's set up looks a little different. So what we're going to do in this first one, we have f of g of x in this first example. And I like to say the easiest thing is if I'm starting with f, I'm going to start writing that function until I get to a variable. Once I get a variable, then I'm going to substitute that other function in. And then I'm going to finish my original one. So I am left with 8a minus 5. Same thing with g of x. G of f of x. So I'm going to start writing g. Whenever I see a variable, that's when I'm going to substitute in my other function. And that gives me 8a minus 20. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Again, it's going to be a little different just because we have a square there. So I have f of g of x. I'm going to start with f, and I have x squared. So right away, I'm going to substitute in what I have of g of x. I'm going to square it plus 2. If you need to, you can write that out. If you can't do that in your head, and you're going to use FOIL, it gives me x squared minus 12x plus 36 plus 2. So my final answer is x squared minus 12x plus 38. Same thing with g of f of x. I'm going to start writing with g, and I have x right away, x, so I'm going to substitute an x squared plus 2 since that's my f of x minus 6. So that gives me x squared minus 4. Okay, the last example we have today, again, looking a little bit different. This time we're given f of x, g of x, and h of x. And again, with these, I like to say we always like to work inside out in math. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find h of 3. So I have h of 3. And anywhere I see an x, I'm going to substitute in a 3. Now with these, if you want to use your calculator, that gives me 9 plus 18 plus 8. So my h of 3 is equal to 35. So now I'm going to take this 35, I'm going to substitute it in my g of x. So g of 35 is equal to negative 2 times 35 plus 1. So that's negative 70 plus 1. So my final answer is negative 69. Okay, last problem. Same thing. I'm going to start from inside out. So I'm going to find g of 2. And I have negative 2 times 2 plus 1. So that gives me negative 4 plus 1. So that equals negative 3. So g of 2 equals negative 3. Substitute that into h. And I have negative 3 squared. Now be careful. You want to make sure you put parentheses around that. Plus 6 times negative 3 plus 8. This gives me positive 9 minus 18 plus 8. So h, oops, sorry, we don't need to write that all out now. So when I combine all these, I get my value as negative 1. Okay, thanks for stopping by on this basic operations of function today. Have a good day.